All opinions expressed on this presentation are of the individuals themselves. This is for adults only and may contain discussions likely to offend.
Hello, welcome to Ball Statements. I'm Gary.
I'm Rob.
I'm Will.
And today we are discussing the B.
C.
Hey.
Hey.
Yes.
Which will
Or
be fun.
the bald, bullshitting cunt.
Whee.
So I put this one especially in for you, Will.
I'm not bald. Yeah.
You're not bald.
No, not bald. See?
Anyway, BBC. Go on. You put it in especially for him.
Especially for Will, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know you have some quite passionate opinions about the BBC.
Yeah, should be scrapped.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah, I think it should be scrapped. It's a waste of of licence fee payers' money, and it's basically used to push the woke side of the country's agenda upon us.
Got that in early.
Yeah, just getting that out there.
The
yeah.
weekly woke whinge.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it's there for. I can't remember the last time I watched a BBC programme and it was decent. I haven't had a TV licence for 3 years. Don't have to because obviously don't watch live TV, but also because I wouldn't want to give another penny to the BBC and their left-wing supporting lunatics who are in charge of the asylum, which it seems.
I mean, the BBC claim to be impartial,
I can claim to be not sexist.
but
There we go. There are plenty out there that go, how the fuck are you claiming not to be sexist?
it's interesting. Okay, so what, are you basing it on anything? But the left-wing woke agenda, are you basing that on anything?
Yeah, BBC will shut down anyone with a right or slight right, even just barely right of opinion and view, while the left supporting lunatics are given airtime, but under nowhere near as much criticism and focus as their right counterparts to explain their...
Any examples?
when they've given them...
Specific examples.
Okay, going back to the most famous one, BBC Question Time, when they had...
I was on that.
They had Nick Griffin on there.
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't let him answer at all. Bombarded him with the normal sort of stereotype. I just want to clarify, I'm not a supporter of Nick Griffin, but rather than actually listen to his
You'd help him out
opinions.
if he was...
If he needed the
If he needed a sofa moving, yeah. But no, and they shut him down, not listening to any answers, just firing all the questions. When he was trying to answer, didn't give him the time of day. And on the flip side of that, though, when there's been people who are on the far left, they're giving not only their opinions, they're normally there with someone else who...
Again, an example?
An example, far left, when they've had Diane Abbott on there. I mean, plenty of time for that. I mean, the only real criticism that she's ever got was for the public mishaps she has made, which have been indefensible. And even then, the BBC's coverage of that was lame, shall we say, compared to all the others, including Nick Ferrari does LBC. Actually, I did the interview with her.
This is LBC, they're not BBC.
No, I know LBC, but I'm saying he wasn't on the BBC. He actually put her under some severe grinning, like what you playing at, and the BBC tried to sweep it under the carpet because we can't have anything said about the left. And I do find that the BBC, if they've got to say anything negative towards the left, it's begrudgingly so. It's begrudgingly. The right, they're all over it.
When did this start, do you think? Gary, have you got any opinions on this?
I have made some notes on this,
Right.
to be fair. Right.
Try and insert them into the conversation naturally, if
I
possible.
can't, because I can't remember what I've written.
Right. Righted.
Right, the BBC, right, this is from the BBC.com.
Yeah.
So, to provide impartial news and information to help people
That's really noisy.
understand
Yeah,
and
good point.
engage with the world around them.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
No, not at all. They
No,
say they're impartial.
Of course you don't.
Do you think they're impartial?
Yeah.
You can ask Bert if you're not
No,
sure.
I think
you
they're
think they're
impartial.
you think they're completely
Yeah.
impartial. do you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, and I'm going to say this actually. There, as much as Bert would like to disagree with me, I think even he'll admit he probably won't agree as anywhere near as much as I do with the right and the left. But I don't think Bert would agree they're impartial. I'm happy to be proved wrong.
Well,
do you
let's-
think the
should we
BBC
ask him?
are currently impartial?
I'm going to bring my opinion into a minute. In a minute.
Can you just answer that question just temporarily, just for that moment? Would you say, do you believe they are impartial
No.
as of now? Okay, there we go. Right,
I think they're more in favour of the right.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Go on.
This is just from my reference is BBC.com. This is from their own website.
Yeah, I know.
It's not my view.
I know, but that's not going to be a critique of them. It's going to be all the bullshit they spout.
Finish.
To support
He's just made
learning.
the effort here.
To support learning for people of all ages.
So to teach people that there are 75 different genders.
Oh,
etc.,
I've got
etc.
something on gender reveal, but I will leave that for another time. Anyway, bear with me. Right, no,
You're
the
gonna reveal your
BBC
gender,
Bite Size was really good for kids. Have you
There
ever
are
seen
some
BBC Bite Size?
educational,
CBeebies,
yeah.
they have a lot of
There,
education
there are
stuff on there.
educational bits on that. However, that has moved into a more of a woke area to.
But you haven't
match
watched
the
any
right-
of the Bite Size.
Used to watch it as a kid when they used to do the bite-sized things on the BBC iPlayer as well. You could click on them in the
As a
bite-size.
kid,
No, when the kids were kids.
when the kids were kids.
Yeah, when my kids were kids.
But you haven't seen it in the last 3 years.
No, but I'm fully aware of enough of it where it is woke and you can see bits in the news where they're saying, oh, BBC forcing this on people and things like that. It's all tick boxes and wokeness.
This is their mission anyway. To show the most creative, highest quality and distinctive output and service.
Okay, that's shit.
Okay?
Okay, tell me compare all the last superb, in general, viewing figures, successful shows in the last 10 years. How many of them are on the BBC? As opposed to Netflix, Amazon.
Yeah, there's just more
Everyone
choice
else,
now. I mean,
Agree, there's more choice, but
you go back to the 1950s and it will be all BBC. What's the point?
in the 1990s, in the early 90s, BBC was superb. I can't remember exact, but basically you had the comedy shows on a Saturday night. But Beatles about. You had Casualty, which was good. I know there was Heartbeat, and I'm sure a couple of these might be ITV, but in general,
No,
the TV
Noel's
and
House
the-
Party
Heartbeat
was
was
BBC.
ITV.
Yeah. Then they were Match
Bad
of the Day.
example.
Yeah,
Why?
'cause it was a terrible
shit.
programme. Yeah.
Well, you didn't like Noel's House Party? It got in the viewers though, didn't it?
It did.
That was one of the biggest viewing things
Yeah,
on a
yeah.
Saturday
More about
night.
society, though, didn't it?
It was just a bit of fun, wasn't
Yeah, I'm
it?
not
Yeah,
denying that.
Gladiators on the other side.
But the BBC used to have good programmes. Now, unless you want to watch something about antiques, or where your great-great-great-great-granddad ended up getting murdered, or other general crap, there's nothing on the BBC for the general viewer. It's more sort of
David
categories
Attenborough?
and things. Attenborough, no, even I'd say most of his stuff now is
Because
not on
he's
the
woke
BBC.
as well, isn't he? 'Cause
No,
he's
David
trying
Attenborough's
to
not
save
woke.
the planet.
No, I don't have David Attenborough woke as well. I think David Attenborough's old school.
David Attenborough is one of the biggest climate change activists in the
Just
world.
because you've got an opinion doesn't make you woke. If you've got one
and he's
opinion.
got clout as well.
I'm not denying that. I have a lot of time for David Attenborough. I think the man is a legend. I'd love to have like a meal with David Attenborough chatting about bits and pieces. I love watching his
Oh,
programme.
he'd be enthralled.
But
It was a very moving occasion.
he would love it. He would love it, yeah. Explain to him how your blooming penguins cross the Sahara Desert.
On the back of a camel.
Yeah, from the Arctic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another call back.
Yeah.
Oh, any other points
Yeah,
you've got
man.
there, Gal?
To reflect, represent and to serve the diverse communities of all of the UK's nations and religions, and in doing so to support creative economy access across the UK.
Yep, to do all that, apart from as long as you're not a white male, then you're 100%. If you're any other colour, any other origin, gender, anything like that, then you're 100%.
That's
tick all
interesting
the
you make that
boxes.
point because I looked up something yesterday.
Okay, go on.
Because I anticipated this coming up.
Oh, here we go. Look at the excitement. Yeah.
I looked up the BBC's highest earners
Oh, funny, look, I got that as well.
from, there might be, this is from 2022 to 23.
Yeah.
In 10th is Sophie Rayworth.
Yep.
I don't know who she is.
Newsreader.
Newsreader.
Right, 9, Lauren Laverne. I think she's on Radio 6.
Couldn't tell you.
She was a pop star in the 90s. In 8, Ken Bruce. Obviously, this is
Yeah.
out of date now.
Yeah.
7, Greg James. Do you know another radio?
Must be.
6 is Fiona Bruce.
Yep.
5, Stephen Nolan. 4, Hugh Edwards.
Yep.
A different conversation to have.
Agreed, yep.
3, Alan Shearer.
Yep.
2, Zoe Ball. And you probably guess who number 1 is.
Gary Lineker.
Gary Lineker.
And
By quite a substantial
What
lead,
have they
Gary
all got in
Lineker.
common?
And I think that proves my point
I
brilliantly.
mean, I don't know who Stephen Nolan is.
I guarantee he's not one of them.
I think they're all white.
I think we can all argue they're all white British.
And that's just a 10.
100%. No, I know. That's the top 10, isn't it?
I think the next one that isn't white is Naga Manchetti, who's about 14 or 15.
Yeah. And that proves my point entirely. When the BBC, because of their financial constraints and the issues they've been having, why they wouldn't want to raise the licence fee, the contracts that these
That's been
people
frozen.
the contracts that people have been such a period of time where the contracts are for 3-4 years. It is not financially viable for the BBC to get rid of them. So it's no surprise that the highest earners, the ones in the next bracket down, who are not the highest earners, who are nowhere near the highest
the brown
earners,
belt.
and all this, in the next bracket down, they're the ones that were able to be losing their jobs and be replaced by the BBC. And every time they go, the ones who are full top earners, if you're on a 3-year contract earning what Gary Lineker earns, or even Fiona Bruce is, then the pay, the severance pay for them, or the redundancy pay for them, would be astronomical. And you've already heard the BBC saying when they were talking about would the lead people themselves take pay cuts, they think they get it, and no, I'm not taking a pay
Some
cut.
of them have. Laura Koonsberg.
Some of them may well have done, but the majority didn't get that, and that's why they're still there. Let's have this. I'm 100% brilliant. Let's pinpoint this, and we'll come back in 3 years when I think their contracts only give out a maximum of 3 years at a time. 3 years' time, and we'll see how many of that are on that list. And I guarantee you, more than half will have gone.
Watch this space. Hit the notification bell
Yes.
for 3 years' time.
Yes.
Well, I think we've triggered Will with that one.
I'm not triggered at all.
Your next point, Gary?
To reflect the UK, its culture and values to the world.
That's not exactly what that says, is it?
Isn't it?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that one.
No, I've read that one.
Right, to reflect the UK, its culture and values to the world. Yeah.
I'd say, I agree with that.
That's their 5 missions.
I wouldn't have reflect, I'd say impose our view of cultural society on the UK, our view of it, of how it should be, and impose that and make sure that people adhere to that view being what the UK is. The UK is not a cultural society. Yes, it is having the effects of a cultural society now, but it's not willingly. If it was a willingly cultural society, then you wouldn't see Brexit, you wouldn't see...
It's like you've just got words out of a Scrabble bag.
No, you wouldn't.
I can't make any sense of what you're
You
trying
would-
to form a coherent sentence.
Yeah, that was perfect. They're
Carl
trying to
Stark
impose
said
their
it was,
views. Yeah, you are having Brexit. If this was a cultural society where all cultures and creeds could all meet and get on with each other, then there wouldn't have been Brexit, there wouldn't be racism, there wouldn't be any of the diversities in towns and cities that you're seeing now, in terms of grouping off Muslims over there, Sikhs over there, Jews over there, white people over there. It would all be mixed and integrated. There is forced integration in this country, so there are examples where it's been forced upon them. But I do think you look at now a lot of the towns.
I don't think you
and
can blame the
cities-
BBC for that.
No, I didn't say. I'm not saying
I'd say you
blame.
could blame for
they're
that.
Saying, they're
Who's been in
saying
power the last 13
reflect it, but they also impose their views that this should be the case. Not one person on the BBC comes out and going, you know what, I don't think this is working as well as we all like it to make.
I mean, they have open forum shows where they can specifically do that.
They have open forum shows where the guests are vetted, and anything that's put in is normally shot right down.
How do you know all this?
And
You
they have
don't watch
phone-ins.
BBC?
And I phone it, but again, they don't just phone in and get straight through to the studio. They have to be called, hello, what's your point?
But if everyone was in agreement, it'd be a very boring show. Wouldn't it?
There's different ways to disagree. You can have someone who is far right with an example, then you can have someone who is centre right to an example, then you can have someone who is centre, who then's not left, and they use the
Right.
centre person as the argument. Centre person's argument would not be as extreme as a far right. So yeah, I don't agree with that with the BBC. All with the stuff. So much so you even look at their sports pages. BBC Sports' latest scores, football just used to be the football scores. Now it's all integrated with the women's football, which is a completely separate sport. Just because, oh no, women and men are equal. No, we're not. We're two completely different
Football.
people. Yeah,
Football.
yeah.
You've got the problem.
I haven't got the problem
You have
at all.
got the problem.
I think we've actually seen, and you say me, I think while they've integrated BBC especially actually, have integrated all this women's football, and you want the facts. Football Focus, one of the longest standing programmes of the BBC, since they've had the female presenters and gone with the tick boxes, is down 79% on viewers, looks at being scrapped. Soccer AM, which was a Sky thing, nothing to do with the BBC, they again went down the woke road. Soccer AM has now been scrapped. You look at the viewing figures for other sports like football, but other channels. Sky Sports Soccer Saturday is now down 85% between male viewers.
That says something about football rather than
It says something about
it
the
doesn't
people that are
at all,
watching it.
because when you're watching the men's World Cups and the big games and the tournaments, the European tournaments and that, the viewing figures are still there. It is for these programmes, which used to be, whether it used to be a Match of the Day or a Football Focus, since they've incorporated it, and you see a lot of people now on Twitter, or X, whatever it's called now, coming out saying, look, nothing about women playing football, good luck to them, but don't start, women's football is not men's football. The levels are so different that you're diluting it.
But you're just talking about football.
But again, it's on the BBC page. They started it off
But
by
you haven't got to.
incorporating
If
it.
it's on the website page, then
Yeah.
don't read it.
It's not that easy. You go and see.
It's not that easy.
It used to be, right, a Man United lose 5-0. All right, so you go on that, you go,
Still
oh,
is.
7-0,
Man United,
I thought.
yeah, whatever. But then you click on it, Man United win 8-2, and you click on it, oh, when that happened, I don't remember. Oh, no, it's the women's. They don't differentiate. So they're not Man United or Man United, whether they're the men's team or the women's team. They don't differentiate.
There must be
And it's
some...
100% is not. There's been a criticism about it of the BBC website. They will do the picture, but with normally a ball and like the shirt, and then it'll be Man United make record signing. You click on it.
That
and
says
it's the
more
women's.
about the people clicking on it and watching than it does the BBC.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
It does.
It does.
It doesn't.
It does.
It doesn't. You have other football websites, reputable ones, but not in this country.
Such as?
Football Italia, for example, the Football Italia website, all to do with Italian men's football, have a completely different section for the women's, easily accessible. So you like women's football, knock yourself out, click on that, and then you find all the women's info. There's none of this crisscross. It's only in this country. The same for the German football magazine.
But we're talking
they
about
call
the
it.
BBC.
Yeah, and I'm saying how they've integrated their wokeness and things like that, and how not only that, but you laugh, but it is bringing the viewing figures down. 80% drop since they have started ticking boxes and promoting women commentators and this into the viewing figures of these shows.
Can you prove any of this?
100%. You happy to?
Yeah,
all right.
please do.
No worries at all.
Please
Okay?
do.
Yep.
Be the Mail Online.
Yeah. No, it won't. It
Yeah,
won't.
I want to just highlight something. I am not a BBC fan as well. I don't want you to think that...
Football Focus has lost a third of its early season audience since
I thought I got
2021,
reactions
with
to
its August viewing figures dropping from 849,000 to 564 last month. BBC condemned for mismanaging Football Focus because of all the wokeness.
Yeah, but who's doing
That was
it?
GB News.
GB News.
Because of,
Fears
oh yeah,
itself.
yeah, and they're impartial.
They came out, their line. I didn't say they were impartial though. Talk Sport, yeah, so everyone, yeah. Richard Key, oh crikey, everyone coming out.
crikey,
saying
yeah.
Yeah,
crikey,
again,
yeah,
Richard
Richard
Keys is
Keys.
impartial. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't even know who
BBC
he
deny fears in the Mirror, which
Incredibly
isn't right
hairy
wing.
arms,
In the right wing,
Richard
BBC
Keys.
deny fears iconic football show could be axed over viewing figures. BBC, it's all over that, and that's just Football Focus, and not even to do with soccer.
So what you're saying is that the woke thing is the one that's going to get cancelled.
The woke thing is going to get cancelled.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, of course it's going to be cancelled because
Right.
they are relying
just wanna
on normal
put a
people
stamp
to
on
support
that,
it.
put a
Normal
pin in that.
people aren't going to support a woke program. If it was wokeists supporting a normal program, it'd be exactly the same.
So I just want to make the point that
Yeah.
that you're saying that the thing that's gone woke is the thing that's getting cancelled.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Makes a nice
Just
change.
going to put a pin in that.
Yeah, it makes a nice change for that to be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, I'm going to reiterate my stance. I'm not a particular fan of the BBC. I'm not just going to sit here and be contrarian to you. Is that word again?
Google.
I don't have such an issue with the BBC. My stance is more with the scandals surrounding the BBC. I don't think we should have a licence fee. I think it should be self-funded. I do believe that. Like every other channel, and I know it will mean having adverts, but tough fucking shit. That's the BBC has helped me quite a bit because I've been on the radio. I can't remember how many times now, and I've played BBC stages at various festivals. So I think it would be bad of me to slag them off when they've done that, and might potentially do that again in the future. You know, I've got to look after my personal interests
Exactly,
as well.
that's the only reason you're being pleasant.
I have friends in the BBC. They're not paedophiles. I don't believe that everybody in the corporation is a paedophile.
I agree, and
I
also
think that's a generalisation
one thing you will notice,
made
I don't,
earlier in the show.
I won't stick them with that because although they have a lot of accusations, because obviously they've been going a long time and they've had a lot of old stuff, I don't jump on the bandwagon of they're full of paedophiles because I'm 99% sure within myself that ITV, that Sky, that the Catholic Church, that government,
that's a whole
the
episode on its
government,
own.
the royal family, all have nonsense in them,
Yeah.
and it just depends who's going to be
because
found
the
out.
BBC had the most famous one, Jimmy Savile. So I think that's why it gets a lot of, and it did cover it up. So that was a massive thing. I want to go back to something you said about the BBC being not impartial and woke. What do you think the BBC stance on staff going to gay pride marches is?
I'd say behind closed doors, do what you want. Yep, that definitely fills our agenda. However, in front, if they're showing people to encourage that, they're going to be accused of not being impartial. So I'd argue that they probably are saying to the staff, don't go to these events.
Yes, until very recently, BBC staff were not allowed to attend
Yeah.
gay pride rallies and marches.
Yeah, because it's something
So
then
that's
you
the
can,
woke BBC for you.
But that is because then that's something that you can easily turn around and say you're not being impartial. They're not thick people. They obviously.
I would
got a big
argue that
corporation.
going on a gay rights march isn't really a political statement.
No, I'd agree with
So
you
I
there.
don't know why that has to be. You mentioned something about Muslims and Sikhs earlier on. I'm not aware of any programs that cater to those communities.
The BBC have got a thing, haven't they?
yeah.
BBC Muslim or something or other.
Yeah, I've seen that on the.
I don't know about that, but on the mainstream BBC, you have songs of praise. They never take songs of praise from the Torah or the Quran.
And the BBC now tends to focus a lot on toward the elderly. It's not a young person's channel. It's not even a middle-aged person.
Well, they've realised that their audience is older.
Exactly that. Who's going to be sitting home watching just the BBC now? The elderly people. So Songs of Praise, the Antiques programmes, Homes Under the Hammer and all that sort of stuff will be the stuff that's viewed on.
I think children now, once they're over the CBeebies age, they probably won't ever watch the BBC again.
Agreed.
Even Doctor Who now, which is a massive part of the BBC's history
Yep.
for 60 years, they've done a deal now with Disney, which I'm sure you've got opinions on as well, so that you can actually access Doctor Who via Disney now, Disney Plus as well, not just the BBC.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they cater towards the older, because their audience is dying out, and they have to try and win back some of their younger viewers. They haven't got Top of the Pops anymore, things like that.
Top Gear. That's going.
Right. Yeah, I don't know that was a young. That was more.
I'd say middle age,
Mid-
definitely to the, yeah, not, I mean,
30
you get
plus,
younger, yeah,
I would
30
say
plus
Top
yeah.
Gear was.
Yeah. But again, when they got rid of Clarkson, May and Hammond, realistically, I mean, you saw the
Well, they
ratings
only got rid of
figures drop.
Clarkson. But,
Yeah, I know, but it was very much a 3-0.
oh, we've talked about that.
Yeah, but I do feel that, yeah, that was another one where I think back in the day, they're not getting rid of him, the viewers are still saying hi. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he didn't, stuff needed to happen, but I think that's where, and then when they brought it back in, it's failed, and a lot of the stuff now, a lot of people aren't watching the TV.
Missed. Right, going back on on the pay thing, right? So yeah, you were right. Gary Lineker's the highest
Yeah.
at 1.35 million.
Yeah.
Zoe Ball second with 980,000.
That's quite a gap, isn't it?
Yeah. But Jeremy Bowen, the Middle East correspondent for the BBC, so
Right.
he's in the thick of it in the Middle East. Yeah.
He's in Dubai, probably.
He's not. He's in Jerusalem at the moment.
Is he?
Yeah.
Respect.
But anyway, he's only on 230,000.
Okay.
But he's putting himself in danger. He's putting himself on the line. Yet some prick who talks about football for 90 minutes or wherever long it is a week is on 135 million.
But then
Yeah,
I
but
didn't know who that was.
Jeremy
No,
Bowen.
It's the names.
Yeah.
you're
But
paying.
it's wrong that the fact that he's on that much and he's not on
that-
as much.
I think
Yeah,
it's wrong that she's on that much less and he's a man and she's a woman. And she probably works, although she's always on bloody holiday, she works more hours than Lineker.
We'll come back to that because I disagree. That's a bullshit argument between a man and a woman thing. For your thing, that's
Of
not
course you
actually
do.
a criticism towards the BBC. I don't have with that. That's a society thing. That's like you being one of the people.
Well, because their wage structures
No,
are
no,
wrong.
no, no,
That's
no,
the
no,
BBC. That is a
all right,
criticism of the BBC.
It's a governmental thing. Like, why aren't soldiers and nurses getting paid 100 grand a week? Footballers getting paid a certain amount.
Well, exactly.
No, brilliant, but cool.
People don't pay
You're
to
gonna
go and
pay.
see
You're gonna
doctors and
pay. You're gonna
nurses,
pay the doctors and nurses and the firemen and the soldiers. You're gonna bump up your taxes to about 80% rather than 20% just to cover them to get that sort of wage.
They need more money.
I'm not denying that, but I'm saying to you, it's a governmental thing. You're not going to pay them that.
Yeah,
And
But
Gary Lineker.
The BBC.
I don't think the BBC could be to blame for that, is what we're
Gary,
saying.
yeah.
Well, the
it's not
government-
BBC.
I don't think it's even the government can be blamed. It is society in general that we've got this.
Who pays Gary Lineker's wages?
That'll be the BBC, but he's there because he's well known. He's in football, which has a load of money in it, so they're able to pay that. BBC have football rights. Football's it's obscene money they pay. But I have.
But he shouldn't be on that much,
No, of course he should.
and he should be on
Maybe
more.
not.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Or maybe they all should be on the same.
in an ideal world, yeah,
But then you'd get someone saying, well, we're all on the same money, I work more fucking hours.
yeah.
And then I say, yeah, but who the fuck are you? No one's tuning in
Yeah.
because you're a fucking camera operator on a certain show. You know.
Well, without the camera operators, they wouldn't be on telly at
I
all.
know, but you don't watch a show for who's
No.
done the fucking makeup, do you?
And at the end of the day, he's still being offered the chance. Do you want to go and earn 230 grand a year and go and cover the Middle East? Are you going to turn around and say no? No, probably the same reason he's not going to turn around and say no.
He might go and get a better offer from Sky.
I'd
Yeah.
say no.
No, you wouldn't.
I would. I
You
wouldn't fucking
wouldn't.
go to the Middle East.
I'd go to Jerusalem if someone offered me 230 grand to cover it. 100% I would.
I'm sure we could do a
Is Jerusalem
GoFundMe
really
page,
in
couldn't we?
I think, is Jerusalem really in the thick of it at the moment?
Yeah, it's in Israel, isn't it?
It's more
Yeah.
the Gaza Strip that's got the.
Yeah, but it's in
got the
Israel.
shit
That's, I
going,
think that's
isn't
as near as they can get, or something
Yeah.
silly, or.
Well, yeah, well, being safe. But yeah, no, I agree. And that argument, like I say nurses and soldiers and all that, they should get more. But the
They
BBC have to pay, I think, as I've seen, you could get someone else other than Gary Lineker, you could get a lower sort of reputation footballer to do it, probably for half the amount of money. And that's why a lot of people, including myself as well, you look at the tax, at the TV licence and think, why am I paying towards that?
This is not me going, oh, good. This is me saying the wage structure at the BBC, I don't think is right.
But that's the same everywhere.
We were talking about the BBC.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that's not a BBC select thing,
Yeah,
is it?
I
It's a live
have.
thing.
I hate it.
Here we go.
But I have to agree with Will. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, no,
but
we are,
but
we are,
but
we
it's
are,
not
we
the- It's not the BBC that are to blame for that.
No, it's a
I get your criticism, but it's everything.
He is giving you an angry look,
It's-
but
I don't really know what I've done wrong.
You
To be
haven't done anything wrong. You haven't done anything wrong. It's just, that's not exclusive to the BBC. That's
just-
society in general.
Well, yeah, but between the BBC.
But no, I agree. From the BBC, yeah, their pay structures are all wrong, yeah. But at the end of the day, I think it irks more with the BBC because you're actually having to pay it through the TV licence. If they were doing it for advertising, you're probably more inclined to give less of a shit.
And they're probably got more money.
Yeah.
It was paid for by advertisers as well. That's the other thing.
Walker's crisps.
Yeah.
Is he still doing what?
I haven't seen an advert on TV for years because we only ever watch the subscription channels now.
Right.
But they're sneaking adverts in now, aren't they? Amazon is.
yeah.
You notice that? I know we're talking about
Yeah.
BBC, but yeah, they're sneaking adverts.
But even if
in.
you pay for it.
Yeah.
Netflix, yeah.
Even at the beginning of the programme, sometimes I think you could pay more to get the adverts knocked
Yeah.
off. But I think Netflix have a couple of adverts thrown in.
I've
Yeah.
never seen an advert on Netflix.
It has just come in, I think it came in at the beginning of last month, but where the standard package now includes a couple of adverts. But to be fair, it's not, with ITV and that, it used to be, you know, 7:30 to 8 was a programme, and then at 7:45 you'd get about 7 adverts in a row. So you're only watching like 7 minutes and 8 minutes.
Yeah,
of
you know how many adverts there used to be when you used to watch it, when you watch it on catch up or whatever. Then the half-hour programme is something like 19 minutes long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And fuck, that's really.
22 minutes usually
Yeah.
is a half-hour show.
Uh-huh.
And 45 is an hour-long show, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we don't want to critique ads too much because ads can sometimes be a necessary way of getting revenue if you have something that people are enjoying watching. So we like advertisers. Pepsi, give us a
Are
call.
you going somewhere with this?
We want advertisers, don't we?
Or people to subscribe to Patreon would be.
Yeah, I
Good
know,
as
but
well.
let's get Pepsi involved first. Pepsi.
Yeah, they're really looking out for
Tell
a
you
fucking...
what, also, Gold Virginia. Get them. No one has fags advertising anymore. I do
you're not
that.
I mean, it's not allowed.
Is it not?
That's against the law.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was just frowned upon. Oh, you learn something every day.
But it's frowned upon as well. But
God, I haven't had advertising fags for years.
No, since they stripped them off the Formula One cars, that was late 90s, wasn't it? Early 2000s?
Well, they stripped them off of everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I used to, when I used to smoke, I used to get this thing. It was called the Virginian. Do you remember that?
No.
And
He'd fuck it.
it was a magazine made by Golden Virginia, and I found a copy of it when I was packing from a house move the other day. Yeah, it was like just a general magazine that had things about different subjects in it, but it was for smokers of Golden Virginia. I can't remember how. I think you had to write to them or something or other. I can't remember how I started getting it. You used to get it through the door every month. It's free as well.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
In the Benson and Hedges magazine, it'd be like a Harrods catalogue.
I mean, that's not quite the same thing.
That is.
Why? What?
Benson Hedges was like the pristine gold packets. Like
Ah, okay.
Benson Hedges is.
The Virginian magazine.
Careful. Rare. £1.50 rare.
Yeah. I don't know who those people are.
Fucking hell, they look like family that sleep together.
Well, family that sleeps together,
Well, I hope not,
creeps
'cause
together.
It's
About
a dog, isn't it?
VirginiaLiving.com, yeah.
I don't know if this is it or what, but
Yeah, it looks like
no,
a sort of fag
that's a
packet.
movie, Gary Cooper.
Ah, and Walter Huston, yeah. Walter Huston, innit?
Do you know what? I was looking at it thinking, that doesn't say what he said. That does not say what he said. Happens to the best of us.
Walter Huston.
Happens to the best of us.
So, in summary, BBC, I think, shouldn't go, but it should be self-funded,
Yes, 100%.
and it should be more left-leaning.
I agree. I agree it shouldn't go. I agree it should be self-funded. And to be honest, I don't care what way it lies if it's self-funded, because not one person with an ounce of sense is going to fucking subscribe to it.
That's what they're worried about. What are you laughing at?
Is
Oh.
it's changed your stance, which is great.
And you're dribbling.
I'm not dribbling.
You are. You've got wet.
You're a bit of a dribbler.
You are. Look at you. You've got. Can the camera pick that up?
It glistens.
You know, I think if BBC went subscription only, it would go. It would just fall.
It would, yeah. It'd be like the old school Channel 5, and at least the old school Channel 5 had a cheeky porno movie on a Friday.
But are the BBC regulated by the government?
Well, sort of all TV is to a
Ofcom,
degree,
yeah.
All TV has to,
So
fit
if
certain regulations.
the BBC did get into trouble, would the government bail it out, like banks and stuff? Or?
Oh, at the moment, yeah, in a heartbeat, yeah.
Right, okay.
The BBC is the government's voice, whether it's a Labour government or the Tories government. It's sort of a lot of the time, it will try and swing its own agenda. That's where the BBC's outgrown itself a bit. It used to just be the government's puppet toy, whatever government was in charge. But now the BBC has sort of developed an opinion of its own and tries and imposes that on whatever government's in charge.
Right.
There you go.
Was Spitting Image on BBC?
No, it was ITV. See, I would argue that things like "Have I got news for you?" They take the piss out of both sides.
Yeah.
They do, yeah. I will give you that. But that's more to do with, I'd say, some of the
gonna be
actual. That would be to do with more of the comedians involved who will do that, as opposed to the show's premise.
Like the one where he was doing the cream egg recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
They done it with a bigger egg as well, didn't
Yeah, that was great.
Ian
wasn't it?
Hislop, I think, it's more to do with the actual.
Ian Hislop's quite left.
Yeah, I agree, but some of he will actually criticise the left as well, so I'll give him his job. I like Ian Hislop. But there have been, people on there who are more right-wing comedians who you've never seen again.
Such as,
Frankie Boyle.
you've admitted you haven't watched this in the last 3 years. Frankie Boyle, I think you'll find, is very left-wing.
Oh, no, I know he is from a personality, but his jokes and his persona on the TV is very right.
We don't need that sort of thing on the BBC.
He's a very left-wing comedian.
Yeah, so is Lee Mack, I like Lee Mack, but their personas and their viewpoints when they're up on the stage or when they're making jokes is very right-wing. I've seen Frankie Boyle live, 100% right-wing humour.
Sort of right-wing comedians. You like Jim Davidson.
Yeah, went to see him the other week. It was brilliant.
Um,
Up a legend.
saw there's a thing come up on Facebook, an Audible advert for, I don't know if it's a book he's written, or I doubt that he's written it.
He was very intelligent.
It's called On the Offensive,
Yep.
with a really badly photoshopped cover. It looks like he's about to get noshed off by about 50 servicemen. And the comments were brilliant. One of my favourites was, I would rather guide my dad into my mum than listen to Jim Davidson.
It shows the lack of intellect. If you can't listen to a viewpoint that you might not think you like without resorting to childish comments like that says more about that individual.
Jim Davidson used to be on the BBC.
Oh, big
Big Break, Generation Game.
Generation Game, yes.
Jim Davidson's a legend of a man.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, he
On the
is not
BBC.
left-wing. Yeah, he was in the 90s when the TV was good. Now, would Jim Davidson get a job on the BBC? No. Point
He doesn't
proven.
need to,
Thank
'cause
you
he's
very
got
much.
his
Well
own
done, Will.
really
Good night.
successful platform that he's built himself.
Yeah, but either
That's
way.
on
What was
YouTube,
it?
isn't it?
Fucking Chalky FM or whatever
Yeah.
it's fucking called.
But he wouldn't get on the BBC now in any role whatsoever. We'd be lucky to even get a segment of him on the radio because he doesn't fit. In the 90s, though, it was great. I agreed, exactly as I said. 90s BBC, brilliant. Now, shambolic, woke, full of shit.
Well, I'm going to do my fact.
Oh, okay.
Have we not done your fact of the week yet?
No.
Fuck me.
A giraffe is 30 times more likely to get hit by lightning than people. Is it cool?
Oh, we could, yeah, that.
I think that's quite funny.
Well, thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys. Next week we'll be chatting about some other stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
Literature.
Yes, books.
Yeah. So catch us then. Don't forget to like.
Subscribe.
Comments.
Fucking useless.
Hit the notification bell. Hit that bell.
Comment. It's in between you.
You next on Patreon.
I've even put it on there.
Yeah, comment. What's next, Scout? After comment.
Share. I don't say share.
You do.
I don't.
Say it with a bit of passion.
Do I say share normally?
Share.
I don't normally say share.
You're saying it now.
It's open for anyone.
Oh,
And please
Patreon.
support us on Patreon.
Yeah.
Because biscuits don't buy themselves.
No. And remember, address the viewer.
And don't forget, Will's a cunt.
BBC return.
Catch you next week.
Yeah.
goodbye, everybody.
Cheerio.
Bald Statement starred Rob Lewis, Gary Redfern, and Will Atkins. Recorded at Rob Lewis Music Services Studio in Ipswich, UK. This fantastic theme tune is Rumble by Mojo, edited and produced by Rob Lewis. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and listen again.